the 2nd of October 1983. The news of the world hit newsstands with the headline, "UFO lands in Suffolk, and that's official." The article claimed that a mysterious craft, moving under intelligent control, had invaded the skies above the Woodbridge Bentwaters air bases in late December 1980. The outrageous claim was backed with written evidence, an official government memo confirming the alleged sightings. The document had been written by one of the men who encountered the mysterious object, Deputy Base Commander Charles Holt.
Every local radio, TV station, Japanese TV, German TV, I had people swarming all over the place wanting to know the real story.
From there onwards, every single newspaper in the United Kingdom was featuring the story for about a week.
The memo, entitled Unexplained Lights, offered a brief description of the late December encounters. It included Jim Peniston's description of a strange object that maneuvered through the trees, as well as Holt's account of a red sun-like object in the night sky. But how had the story been leaked to the public? The document, known as the Holt Memo, had been brought to light by Larry Warren, a former Air Force security policeman at Bentwaters. He has no regrets.
I wanted to drag people right by their hair through the thing and say, this happened.
He was the one who brought this whole thing to public attention. It was his information specifically that resulted in a Freedom of Information Act that resulted in the release of the so-called Holt document. And once that single sheet of paper was out, the toothpaste was out of the tube.
Warren has received both praise and criticism for his candidness. The story he tells begins like the others, but the ending is even more bizarre. In late 1980, Warren was a 19-year-old security policeman stationed at Bentwaters. According to Warren, after midnight on December the 29th, he was ordered from his post and into the woods to assist with Colonel Holt's investigation. Reaching a clearing, he saw a group of military personnel surrounding a glowing object.
In this field was this object on the ground. It's like a science fiction movie, but there was something alive associated with it. It didn't come out any doors, there were no windows, it was this thing, and it was changing all the time.
Drawing within a few feet of the craft, Warren says he witnessed an amazing sight. There were officers and airmen facing the object, and 3 small glowing entities standing in the light.
What he observes and the other men observe that are in proximity is 3 humanoid shapes.
There was something separate from it with these 3, what you would perceive as kids.
Warren then watched as a senior officer began communicating with the beings.
The senior people there seemed to be following like a protocol. It seemed to be there was a procedure.
Warren was then sent from the clearing and given no explanation for what he'd just seen. The next day, he says he was taken into a room with other witnesses for debriefing. He remembers a film projector and 3 men in suits.
They showed us the different films of UFO military activity going back probably, I don't know, the 40s.
Like other witnesses, Warren says the more he was questioned, the more distorted his memories became. He remembers what happened next as a series of scenes that make little sense. Warren recalls being taken against his will by men in dark suits, then being led into an underground facility on the base.
I remember being on a table and people talking to me and, you know, doctors and Air Force people behind them. I have another memory of being in a kind of a mess hall and trying to eat something and kind of being alone at a table. It's imagery. I mean, this could all have been plugged into my head.
Warren says he isn't sure if what he remembers is real, or if these images were planted by military investigators in order to confuse him and distract him from what really occurred. After the Rendlesham story broke, Warren's accusations infuriated the other witnesses. These airmen and officers said they too wanted the truth, but that Warren's story was a fabrication.
that hurt the whole incident, as far as this is, something really did happen to us, but there's no way, the way he was describing what happened to us, and it wasn't fair to the people that were involved to have that kind of extreme stuff come out.
Parts of his story do correspond with other eyewitness accounts. Warren, like Charles Holt and Jim Penniston, recalls seeing a glowing craft in a clearing in Rendlesham Woods shortly after Christmas in 1980. But Larry Warren is the only airman who claims he saw alien life forms. Another problem with Warren's version of events is that no one can remember seeing him in the woods on the night in question.
Nobody ever recalls him being out there that night. Nobody I've talked to all the players and just about everybody that was on the, even the fringes, and nobody remembers seeing Larry Warren anywhere except around the base in training.
Warren remains steadfast in his convictions.
I've never lost a minute's sleep over my role in this. I've never intentionally misrepresented anything, lied, or tried to gain anything unfairly.
The contradictions surrounding the Rendlesham case have frustrated UFO researchers. While there are several seemingly credible witnesses, airmen trained to be good observers and remain calm under extreme circumstances, the discrepancies between their stories are difficult to ignore. In the years that followed, researchers struggled to unravel the mystery. Then, in 2002, declassified government files revealed new facts about those mysterious nights in the woods.